3, 2, again.
Hi everyone, if you're joining us for the first time, get yourself comfortable, get a piece of paper and pen, and we'll start the class in just a bit. For those on our Zoom class, make sure to have your audio in check, your mic muted unless answering questions, and your video on so you know you're there. All right. If you have any questions, our YouTube chat is available. I'll see the YouTube comment live. So if you have any questions, do ask. I'll respond to them as best I can. However, I do apologize if I miss anything because YouTube has a bit of a delay because it's live. So I will be a bit late in answering your questions. But we do have teachers available in the chat group itself to respond ASAP to any questions you may have. So please ask. All right, just a moment. Gotta get this link right. Okay, there we go. Now, as always, before I begin, I'm gonna now bring up the slides. All right. This will be a class Form 5 students. We'll talk about hobbies and interests. Our subtopics will be hobbies and how to attempt rational close. Before I begin, I want to check with our students from our Zoom session. Can everyone hear me and can everyone hear me clearly? Yes?
Yes, sir. I can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you so much. Any other students available? Okay, because that's our last class. Is it only you in the class?
Yes, sir. It's only.
Okay. So I don't want to just be impersonal. So because I'm an only student now, what's your name? I'll just refer to you in person. Is that okay with you?
Can you repeat, sir?
What's your name? So I can then refer to you personally.
So my name is Nurul Shakira binti Sanuri. You can call me Shakira.
All right, good job. Wow. You hold yourself very well. All right, and to the YouTube peeps, hi, Ardiv Zakwan, and so much more, I'm assuming, but they're coming in late. But other than that, looking forward to having you in the class. For today, we're going to cover two subtopics, which are hobbies and how to attempt rational close. All right, let's begin. So what are hobbies? Hobbies are, among these three, which one do you think is correct? Is it a activity that you only do with a group of people? Is it a compulsory activity that you have to take up in school? Or is it C, any activity that you like to do in your free time? Or which you make time for? Which one do you think it is? Let's see. Dr. Kraft is there too. Aliza Quent's in. Sorry, what was your name again? I'll have to write this down.
Shakira.
Thank you. Shakira. So Shakira, what do you think the answer is? A, B, or C?
In my opinion, it is C. Hobbies are activities that you like to do in your free time.
All right. We also have answers from the YouTube group. Adif Zakwan, Nabil Faiz, Shemir, Shazwi, Muhammad Ilham Fahmi, Nur Farah, Dayang Nur Tasha, and Yumi Abdurrahim all answer similar to, also Nur Najmina also answers similarly to it. The answer is C. All right, and it is C. That's right. Hobbies are activities that you do in your free time. You may take up a hobby yourself or with your friends. Hobbies give you something fun to do, adds to your quality of life, and you gain new skills. My favorite hobby when I was in college was I used to love playing flag football, which was a local version of American football. If you know what that is, cool. If you don't know, look it up. It's a lot of fun. Now, how are hobbies beneficial to you? 1, A, they increase mental health problems. B, they relieve stress by keeping you occupied with something that you enjoy. Or C, they help you understand your problems and figure out ways to solve them. Which one do you think it is? Is it A, B, or C? We're going to wait for the YouTube chat to have answers there. Shakira, if you want to answer too, you can answer. Is it either A, B, or C?
So it is obviously B, that they relieve stress by keeping you occupied with something that you enjoy.
All right. Let's see what the other students in the YouTube chat say. Nadia, Janita, Mazriza, Adif, Ilmam, Alia, Maisara, Dr. Kraft, Shime, Dayang, Alisha, Nur Farah, Belbrit, all answer agreeing with you that the answer is B, and the answer is in fact B. Taking up an activity that you enjoy will inevitably help you to relieve stress. Not only will you be kept occupied, hobbies make you an interesting person and can help you make new friends who have the same interest. Sometimes it's beneficial for us not to just ask people what they like to do. It's also pretty good to have that access where you get to find out by doing things with people. I have made a lot of friends from just playing sports, and I also made a lot of friends playing online games. Choose your pick. What's your hobby? Now, pick an outdoor activity that you can take up as a hobby. We have three options here: we have cycling, collecting stamps, and painting. Which one sounds like an outdoor activity? Personally, I want to say it's C because I've had like workshops where painting was done outside, but generally that's not the usual. So what do you think? Is it either A or B? Hafizam, I don't think you can answer A, B, and C unless you have an ice vendor nearby you. Bad joke of the day. We have answers coming in right now. Everyone's saying it's A. Firdaus says it's B. Well, technically, collecting stamps does have you go out and buy them unless you order them now because MCO. So I'm gonna put collecting stamps as indoor. So we're gonna assume that the answer is A. Cycling. Cycling is an outdoor hobby. There we go. Not sure why it's highlighted B though. Oh. I mean, okay, there could be an argument made for collecting stamps being an outdoor activity and also painting too, but we're just going to usually assume if it's in text without anything else to support it, usually we're going to assume cycling is the outdoor activity. You're going to have a hard time cycling inside. And this MCO, again, a lot of things to contextualize. Okay, now how do I attempt a rational close question? The rational close section tests your knowledge in grammar and vocabulary. Grammar and vocabulary items are normally tested are nouns, pronouns, articles, tenses, conjunctions, prepositions, adjectives, and adverbs. You'll be presented with a passage with blanks. Fill in the blanks with the most suitable answers. Now, if you're Form 5 students now, I'm assuming you have a strong grasp of what nouns, pronouns, articles, tenses, conjunctions, all of those are. If you're unable to identify specifically right now what those are just by looking at it, I would recommend that you spend some time revising your knowledge so that you can identify these parts of speech at a glance. If you're not able to do that, in the very least, you should be able to at least identify by looking at it for a while and then identifying what that word is. And help you a lot in your exams. We'll get to why that is. Before attempting the questions, read the passage carefully. As Form 5 students in your SPM, a lot of English questions can be tricky. And the sentences start to look a lot alike. When you were Form 3, doing your PMA prep, when you were Form 1, when you were primary 6, you could get away with like just looking at the sentence and kind of figuring out what the answer was just by how the sentence was structured. When you get to Form 5, the questions get a lot more complex. So a lot of times reading the question really carefully and having a good hold on what grammar items are will help you out a lot. So that's something that I'm going to personally advise you to do is to have a table, write down all these things, these nouns and pronouns and all that, and start practicing identifying words. Always memorize enough of a certain group so you know what they sound like. After reading the passage of a rational close question, read the sentences that contain the blanks and go through the options for the blanks and choose the best option. We'll go through this together. Now, before we go on, a pop quiz. What grammar item are you usually tested on in the rational close section? Is it A, pronouns? Is it B, similes? Is it C, proverbs? Now, while I wait for the YouTube group to answer me, Shakina, what do you think the answer is for this question? What are you usually tested on in the rational close section? Is it pronouns? Is it simile? Or is it proverbs?
So in my opinion, basically they ask about pronouns, maybe.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Oh, not to worry. But yes, rational close usually tests your knowledge on pronouns. Similes is usually when they ask you to replace a word with similar meaning, and proverbs is usually when they ask you what a saying means, because a proverb usually has an understood meaning to that sentence, which may or may not be literal. In a rational clause section, they will test you for pronouns, nouns, yes, pronouns, nouns, and other stuff that comes from from your grammar. We also have Dayang, Nur Ifa, Aisha, Ira, and a lot more of our YouTube peeps. Hello, everyone. If you're just joining us, we're talking about rational close section of your exams and how to attempt them. We are now discussing what rational close questions discuss. And yes, one of them is pronouns. The full list again is, I'm going to highlight it here. Nouns, pronouns, articles, tenses, conjunctions, prepositions, adjectives, and adverbs. And I kind of went off tangent for a bit and tried to tell everyone, please practice identifying these things. Not only will it be beneficial for rational clause, it will help you with other stuff too. All right. Now, how do I attempt a rational clause section? We're spending time with this because that will be a specific part of your exam where you'll have to do this, and it constitutes quite a bit of marks. And it's usually for examination prep teachers, we tell you that a rational clause section is an easy win and an easy loss because it's very easy to make mistakes. And when you make a mistake here, it's kind of hard to save it because right means one mark usually, and you can't really like get half a mark here. You kind of have to get it exactly right. And it's tricky, but unless you really know your basics here. So one, use the elimination method to choose the correct answer. To do this, you have to cross out the obviously wrong answers first. Then between the options you have, choose the one that is most likely to be the answer. Why is this important? Because sometimes words sound right in two spots, and there's a more correct answer for one of those gaps, which is why we prefer recommending the elimination method. Doing this, you'll avoid using an answer for two spots and then getting confused, getting agitated, and then getting worried and out of focus anymore. When that happens, you tend to make more mistakes. So we're trying to avoid that. So use the elimination method. It's slow, but it's more sure. Finally, revision is very important. You should know the grammar rules at the back of your hand. So like I said, you kind of need to practice identifying all your grammar rules. If you do this, it'll be easier for you to identify which is the right answer. Now, what method did we just tell you is the best way to answer a rational clause question? Is it A, the grammar rules? Is it B, the mnemonic theory? Or is it C, the elimination method? Now, what is mnemonic? M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C is pronounced mnemonic. It's a concept in which where we put a lot of data together into one word, sounds that covers everything inside it. If you are taking, I think it's chemistry, chemical bonds in the 3+ element is Cralfe, which is C-R-A-I-N-F-E. It's something like that. It's where you use a sentence or a word or a sound to help you remember what data or facts are. Okay, YouTube has answers here right now. We have Adizakwan C, NRN Joa C. I think that's Nuri Najwa. I don't know. Nur Najwa. Yes. Okay. Fahmi, ha. Lalaksa says C. Nur Farah Najwa says C. Nadia Natasha says C. Dayam Natasha says C. Almost everyone says C. Yep. So everyone's in agreement. It's C. Shakira, do you agree with that? Is it C?
Yes, sir. I agree with your answer.
All right. So the elimination method, the elimination method is yes, the correct answer. We use the elimination method to approach rational clause questions. To do this, usually you cross out the obviously wrong answers first. So let's try an exercise. So let's try an exercise. Hobbies help us gap as a person. The best way to have a new hobby is to try something new. All of us are unique. And this is the reason why our hobbies and interests gap difference. Once we find an activity we are passionate about, we can explore that activity gap. Having a hobby that we enjoy brings us joy and refreshes us. Hobbies help us to manage our leisure and unplanned time more gap. It also affords you the opportunity to learn new skills in your work. It feels great to be skilled and good at something. gap it, and this is what makes you confident. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Take some time to read for yourself and go through the sentences. While you do that, I'm going to now approach question number 2. The sentence starts with, all of us are unique, and this is the reason why our hobbies and interests gap different. The answers are, for number 2, A is different, are different, B, was different, C, and were different, C. Question number 2 there's a typo there, but it's fine. A, B, C, or D. I'm going to correct it here. Just a moment. Right, so C. Okay, I'm making it worse. I'm going to clear it. I think everyone understands the C. So C is was. Okay, so for question number 2, what is the correct answer for question 2? So Adizakwan says B. Nadia also agrees. They think it's B. Shakira, what do you think? Is it A, B, C, or D?
Wait, sir, I lost. Which question, sir?
Question number 2.
The answer is obviously B.
All right. So everyone's in agreement. It is B, but we're going to try the elimination method together. So I'm going to go through each one. That is, all of us, which is plural, are unique, and this is the reason why our hobbies, interests, again, plural again, is different. I don't think this is correct because it's in a singular form. It does not fit the sentence. The sentence talks about the many. All of us, kami, nahnu, are unique, and this is why the reason why our hobbies, interests, different. Now we're talking about was. Was is in the past tense. Were also is the same thing, and were talks about in a different form. It doesn't really fit our sentence. It's in the present tense, the simple present tense. All of us are unique, and this is the reason why our hobbies and interests. So after eliminating A, C, and D for reasons we know specifically why, the best answer we can go with is B, R, and in this sense, choose that. So that's how we'll go about the elimination method. Why is it important? Again, because we want to find out the correct answer here. Now let's try number 5. But before that, good job. Those in the YouTube comment section, you guys got it right. Really proud of y'all. Now, let's move on to the next question. We'll try number 5. The sentence is, it feels great to be skilled and good at something. Gap it. So it ends with a question. It, what goes before it? Number 5, we have 4 choices. A, isn't. B, does. C, doesn't. And D, is. So it's a combination of either isn't it, does it, doesn't it, and is it? Which one do you think is best fitting for this question? So I'm just going to wait for the YouTube section to answer also. I'll go through it one by one, again using the elimination method. 5, isn't it? It feels great to be skilled and good at at something, gap it. Does it, doesn't it, and is it? Let's see. This is a bit ambiguous, isn't it? Hint. Now, B, does it, is more of a question. It's a reaffirmation. I don't think it fits here. Doesn't it? It wasn't something that you were previously negotiating. Is it? Is you asking a question, and the sentence after doesn't give you any indication that the person telling you the story or writing to the story is unsure about it. So it's more of a saying, and I feel like A fits it more. 5A, isn't it? Now, in the situation where you're unsure if one answer is correct or incorrect, you can put down your most best answers. Do your other questions first. Do 6, 7, do 2, 3, 4. And once you're done with all of that, once you're done all your other questions, and you're back to number 5, you're unsure, choose the best. Now, it feels great to be skilled and good at something, isn't it? Doesn't it? What do you think? So our YouTube chat session has a split between A and D, which is isn't it and is it? And then Nur Najmina says it's C, which doesn't it. What about you, Shakira? What do you think?
So in my opinion, I think the answer is A, isn't it?
Isn't it? All right. So write down your answers. I'll share your answers. I'll share the correct answers in just a bit. But write down your answers first. I'll share your answers in just a bit. 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Oops. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and done. So here are the answers for the questions. I'll go back for a bit. If you don't want to know the answers just yet, pause the video or screenshot it now, and then try it, and then go back to it later. Or you can also just like, pause the video, try first, and then let the video play so you find out the answers correctly. Or you can screenshot this and then later come back to the video, or be live on YouTube so you can watch this video again and then see what the answers are. But again, now I'm going to share the answers in 3, 2, 1. So question number 1 was yes, A, grow. Number 2, interests, B. So 2, R. We did B. So R, so correct. Number 2 was the answer was B. But let's check out number 5. Number 5, the answer was C, doesn't it?
Yes.
It feels great to be skilled and good at something, doesn't it? Why? So I'm asking this question because I want you to think about it. It has to specifically do with the fact that the sentence before it is something. It feels great to be skilled and good at something. And then the question is, doesn't it? To help you with this, think about the question, think about the sentence. It feels great to be skilled and good at something. It's actually an answer. So if it's the answer, what's the question form of this? Because the ending of it was a question. To answer this, simply take the first part of the sentence and change it to its question form. How would you change the sentence? It feels great to be skilled at and good at something. What's the question to this answer?
Does it feel great to be skilled and good at something?
Correct, Shakira. Yes, that is the answer. So that's how, when you understand your fundamentals, you can apply it to this question. Does it feel great to be skilled and good at something? Would it be correct to say, is it feel great? Would it be correct to say, isn't it feel great? It doesn't really fit. So the way for you to do it is to change it to a question. But then you've only made it to 2 answers. Is it does it or doesn't it? And that's simple. Does it feel great? Does not fit, because clearly the person asking this question already knows the answer. The person already is giving you the answer. So they're now simply just challenging you to say, is it not? Because it comes at the end of the sentence. I know I'm going to pause for a bit. Some of you guys might start to feel confused. It's okay. Breathe. And the YouTube comment section, I've lost them already. They're talking about how Ilmam handsome. I have no idea who Ilmam is. I hope they're okay. And regardless of how handsome they are, that they're still studying for the exams. But yes, this is how you approach the rational close section. You remove the ones you're sure are incorrect. And then between the two, you rationalize which one is the best answer. It doesn't, because the person already knows the answer. They're asking you if it's otherwise. Dia dah tahu dah apa jawapan dia. Sekarang dia nak confirm dengan awak. Adakah ia tidak? So at that point, it's doesn't it? Just to see if you're wrong. If it was a conversation, that would be a prompt to you to tell you, hey, tell me, am I wrong? All right, so that's basically the end of our class for today. It was a half-an-hour session. It went by way too fast, but I appreciate everyone here. Thank you all for joining and having a conversation on YouTube. It was great to have you there. Thank you to Shakira for joining me for this session. I hope that everyone else, also Irfan and Pusat Internet can join me in the future. I can't see you. There's no one of the videos. I can't respond to you. So if you do join me in the future on this platform, please make sure to turn on your video and mute your mic or keep quiet until you want to answer questions or ask questions. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a great section. It was a great session. If you want to join me, hold on. Let me just reset. Okay. It was a great session. I would love to have you join me in the future Zoom sessions where I can then respond to you live. If you like to do that, you can do so by going here to eKelas.com.my. Can everyone see this? Shaka, can you see the website?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, cool. So it's Maxis eKelas, eKelas.com.my, brought to you by Maxis. Register by going here at Daftar or Log Masuk, put in your details, make sure you don't lose those details, because we track your submissions, your classes, what you've been doing. It's great to keep track of what you're going through. It doesn't feel like, did I do this chapter or not? When you have an account, it will update and tell you, you've done this, or you're halfway there. After registering and writing it down somewhere so you don't lose it, go to the next part. This is what I want to bring you up to. HIP English Story Fest Competition 2021. This is a competition that will either have you write an essay, whether provide a topic, or record a video of yourself telling a story based on a prepared script. Now, if you do this and submit, we'll take your first submission, by the way. Not only will you be eligible to win prizes from us, you'll also get, just by submitting, PAJSK marks at your school at national level. And because it's locked down right now, I don't think it's going to be easy for you to do that with sports or competitions. So join this in your Form 5s. I don't think I need to tell you to or go tell your parents about it. I trust everyone will register and submit for this competition. This will be really great to have, especially because some unis do take a look at what you've been doing for Kuku. So you can tell them, hey, I joined a national level competition of story writing and video making. Particularly important for those who are interested in the video making scene or writing scene. All right. So good luck with that. Good luck with the SPMs down the road. Thank you all for joining. My name is Teacher I hope I helped you out with any questions you may have and explain things in a way that's easy to understand. If you do have questions, please write them down. We'll attempt to attack this in the future. But until then, thank you all for joining me today. I'm just gonna stop share that. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope to see everyone in the future. Until then, thank you so much. This was eKelas brought to you by Maxis. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.